Hello.
Hello. So wonderful trainers, we welcome to day 3 presentation, and we have the amazing Kirsten Harper. Woo! Round of applause. Woo! And over to you, Kirsten. Go. Day 3.
Oh my goodness. Too funny. Hello and welcome to my very brief summary of a very big subject. So day 3 covers diagnosis and dissonant states. So I'm just going to share my screen here. I've got a few little pickies to go through. Hopefully you'll be able to follow okay. And I've kept it very brief because, one, we're time limited, but two, just know there is so much more information to dig into on this. So this is a very, very brief overview of day 3. And thank you for bearing with me as well. Muddling through. Okay, so day 3, obviously covering diagnosis and dissonant states. So some of the important things to remember about resource therapy. We're looking at what happened to you, not what's wrong with you. Really, really important. Primary questions that we ask, what would you like to change today? What we want to make sure is that the right part comes out to play for healing. We look at who's in the captain's seat, and when it comes to dissonant states, are they the best part for the job at hand? Back to the all-important diagnosing. Now, I tried to copy and paste a table, which didn't work so well, so I had to rewrite it. So credit here goes to, I believe, Gordon Emerson for this one. So I just want to shrink that down. Diagnosis being RT Action 1 helps us to identify the 8 pathologies, which then gives us which of the 15 treatment actions we need to help move pathological states back to a normal condition. We look at the presenting concern. Is it unwanted behaviour? Is it unwanted emotions? Is it internal conflict? The table itself is a beautiful example of how to actually work through to get the right diagnosis for the presenting state. With unwanted behaviour, we're looking at, is it a retro, original or avoiding state? These usually feel very competent when it's conscious. They tend to be quite happy taking the lead. And the difference between an original and avoiding is if it's been noticed since childhood, we look at it being a retro-original. If it's been not there since childhood, so developed later, possibly teenage or beyond, we look at it probably being more of a retro-avoiding state. Other unwanted behaviours we're going to cover today include dissonant states. These parts are normally very healthy, very normal states when they're in the right role, but because they show up at the wrong time, they feel quite incompetent. But the key there is that they're normal states. So if it goes into more of an emotional environment, it goes into more of a higher level of emotions, we look at it being something different. With the unwanted emotions or faded states, we look at them being either fear, rejection, disappointment or confusion. As it says, when they're in the consciousness, faded in fear will feel fearful. Rejection will have feelings of not being good enough, not being worthy, inadequacy. Disappointment will have that low energy through to depression. Confusion will often present as rumination. When it comes to internal conflict or conflicted states, it's usually where one state is in direct conflict with another state. So they're both vying for that driver's seat. And we have some wonderful treatment actions to help put those states back into place where they need to be. So dissonant as defined by the Oxford Dictionary. So dissonant meaning lacking harmony, unsuitable or unusual in combination, or clashing. When that comes to music, it can create beautiful, beautiful music, but when it comes to emotions and self-management, self-regulation, probably not the best thing. A thinking bumblebee there. He makes a few appearances.
Nice.
Okay. So dissonant again, the key, right part, but the wrong time. It's out in the wrong situation. Again, most important to remember that dissonant state would be quite normal and healthy in the right role at the right time. But in the situation where it's in, and I will give you an example of a client of mine who is an actor and has acted for many, many, many years and has no trouble getting on stage and belting out whatever role gets thrown at her. And on one occasion, she had to receive an award for her role in playing a director. So she directed a few plays and had to receive an award for that. Made it all the way to the stage and didn't have a part to be. So she felt quite vulnerable, out of sorts. There was no big emotional component to her reaction. It was just she lost her voice at that point in time, didn't know what to say, stumbled, fumbled, felt totally inadequate receiving that award, stumbled off the stage and went, what the hell happened then? She wasn't quite sure what had happened. And when it was explained to her later, it was just that that part of it had never actually been on stage before. And she understood, and she understands now and going forward that when she goes on stage, she needs to have an adequate part because her non-stage persona is uncomfortable on a stage. So that certainly helped her move ahead, and happy to receive awards, to give awards, to go on stage and perform a role. But this was quite new for her. So when it comes to higher level of emotions, if she'd have gone into a panic attack or hyperventilated, if she'd have been overwhelmed with emotion or stage fright, we probably would have looked more at that being a evaded state, not just simply a dissonant state.
Fantastic.
I am going to run out of material long before time here.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please. Sorry, I can hardly hear you.
Okay, that's right. So yeah, and you are covering day 3, which is dissonant states, which is
yes.
Cool. I love that client example. And what was the thing that you used? Did you do another action of those resource therapy actions to help her find a better part, or are you going to go into
Yeah, no, we'll definitely go over that. But with the empowerment actions to help bring the part into the conscious state, to help her find the resource that she needed to do that role without any discomfort. Yeah, there was a part there that was more than happy to jump in and go, hey, yes, I've got this stage, I own this stage, and damn it, I've earned this award. So the part that came out was crazy confident on stage, knew what its role was, knew how to project her voice, knew that it was in the right place at the right time specifically.
Fantastic. Sounds like really good work.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was good to see. It was really, really good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So again, that dissonant state's not happy being in its role. So it's not comfortable there. It doesn't feel confident there, and it's more than happy to step aside when another role sticks its hand up and says, "Yeah, I'll take that over." Yeah. It may be feeling incompetent. The part may even voice that this is a waste of time. Not happy being here. You know, why would I do this? As opposed to a retro state, where a retro state feels super confident, super competent doing that role. In its own mind, it knows it's the best part for that role, even if it's way off base, but it feels in itself very, very competent in doing the role that it's pre-agreed to do. Yeah.
Great. Well done. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So some of the pathologies that come up with dissonant states is that frustration in coping ability, feeling inept or incompetent, inability to be your real self or authentic. Writer's block is one that comes up quite often, sporting slumps, subpar performance. So by using that beautiful action of finding resource, we actually help people to get the right state on board. specifically going through the Vivify specific protocol to actually get that part into the consciousness. Asking the questions, how do you want to respond? So how would you like to feel on the inside? How would you like to act on the outside at that moment?
Mm-hmm.
And getting that information from the particular part, what it would like to do. And getting an agreement from that part. Would it be willing to step in at those times in future and take over that role?